Looks like he was slowed down to try to get into pit lane, but for some reason he couldn't get it slowed down. He couldn't get, I think he was going too fast when he was approaching the entrance, Kyle, and I think if he would have jumped on the brakes, he would have just smoked through it anyway.
And the problem is you got plenty of room, but you can't clear the cone.
Ralph.
Well, the 29 of Kevin Harvick is in. Todd Berrier been making the calls on this car. They've been very happy with the performance of it so far. Some minor adjustments, nothing too serious. And he's going to get back out on the track here, Marty.
Well, Ralph, so far, Dale Earnhardt Jr. didn't say a word to the team about missing pit road there, although they did notice he lost a lot of track position. For Jr., the car extremely tight. He says it's being very hard on the right front tire, half pound out of that right front tire, half pound in the right rear, and up on the track bar one round trying to loosen that car up. 13.7 on the stop for Jr.
And we saw guys miss pit stops 2 or 3 times yesterday in the Busch race, and this is just a place where you're coming around 3 and 4 really, really fast, and when you go to pit entrance, it's a really hard left, so you're turning left, and it's really tough to get the car slowed down in time, make the commitment line, and not blow it.
Been green since we started. 54 laps are complete. Has cycled back to Jimmy Johnson as the race leader. Waiting for Dale Earnhardt Jr. to cross the line right about now.
You know, like he said, Junior didn't say anything to the crew about missing pit road. He didn't have to say anything to the crew. They knew he was supposed to be coming, and he was going on around. And just like Wally said, the problem with this coming out of turn 4 opens up to the right. Pit road goes left. It's almost like a 45-degree turn to get down pit road, so it's very, very easy to miss.
Junior just took 12 from Carl Edwards. Been green all the way so far at Chicagoland. Jimmy Johnson is the race leader. This is NASCAR on TNT. Caution on the speedway at Chicagoland. Jeff Green has spun, and I'll let our 2 drivers take you through what happened.
This has been coming for 3 or 4 laps. They were running, the 66 and the 55 was running side by side, and Truex got in there, and Jeff just got down in the corner too hard. Car drifted up, and to stay off Michael, Jeff just turned the car hard to the left and spun it around. But the reason these guys were racing so hard is they're racing for position. I mean, you can't say anything against the 66 and the 55, but Truex was wearing the bumper out on the 66 and the 55 trying to get around them.
Yeah, I think the 66 knew he had to go. The one car was up on the back, and I think the 66, like you said, just ran in there a little bit harder, trying to make the pass happen to get out of the one car's way.
And I think we see this from NASCAR. You see, watch the 66 turn down in the corner, and his nose grips, and the car wiggles right there. Boom. And he does Michael Walter does a great job saving that thing, because he's sideways, not quite as sideways as Kyle Busch in, but he's sideways at that point in time. And the 66 of Jeff Green did a great job of just keeping it out of everybody's way.
Sterling Marlin is the lucky dog. He'll come around, be the 27th car on the lead lap. Green spun right in front of a number of good cars. They head to pit road. We head to Lindsay.
And the 17 is thankful that they had this opportunity to come down, because Kenseth said he had a vibration. They weren't sure if all the lug nuts were on tight enough, so his team is taking this opportunity to go ahead and put 4 more tires on, add fuel. To Ralph.
Kyle Busch is back in with the number 5 car, though. Last time they made a tremendous amount of changes. He's been tight everywhere. The air pressure, track bar, and wedge. Just a little bit more of adjustment this time, Matt.
Ralph leader Jimmy Johnson said the car started out positive. Still, though, on the free side, chassis adjustment across the back to try to tighten up a little more. But all in all, he says the car is good. Meanwhile, the 24 Gordon, fuel only, Marty.
Matt, it was a quick stop for Clint Boyer and his bunch, but the problem was when Clint left, he stalled the car, 2 tires, no changes. He said, I'm sideways, but that's what it's going to take to be fast at the end of the run.
Well, pit strategy starting to come into play at Chicagoland with 60 laps complete. You're watching the USG Sheetrock 400. TNT Sports live at the Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois. The pit summary brought to you by NASCAR Hot Pass, only on DirecTV. And you guys were kicking around the different strategies here. What do you want? Do you want your 4 tires? You want 2 tires? You want just fuel?
Well, depending on how your car feels, I think you've got to go with 4. I would. I always go with 4,
yeah.
though. I mean, I'm a 4-tire guy unless it's towards the end of the race.
I beg for 4. I want 4 all the time, but I'm going to say, especially at a place like this that has a tendency to go green for so long.
Right.
You know what I mean? To go green, this is going to put these guys, some of them, even though they gas and go, tire-wise, those last 8 or 10 laps, I'd hate to be sitting in that thing in the last 8 or 10 laps when the tires kind of quit working.
Larry?
Hey guys, I pointed out earlier where in 15 laps the times fell off by a second and a half. Some of these guys had 10 or 11 laps on their tires. I'm like Wally and Kyle. Give me 4 as slick as this place is.
Kevin Harvick in the 29, Reed Sorensen in the 41. Did not pit. This is just about to get fun.
Because those guys on the inside of Harvick, they did pit.
Right.
You know what I mean? These guys do have on good tires. But, you know, this is the biggest gamble of all, is not pitting, because now you're 8 or 10 laps short on fuel and 8 or 10 laps short on tires. So when it all runs out on you, it's going to run out quick. And if they do have another long green, we've already had 1 green flag stop in this race.
Right.
If they do have another long run, this could come back to bite these guys a little bit. Or it puts you on a totally different pit sequence, and you look like a hero when the race cycles out.
But you have clean air.
You got clean air, man, and that's worth something, because we're seeing it right now.
Reigns in that 96 car is the first car 1 lap down. Tony Stewart in the 20, Ryan Newman in the 12, Kyle Busch in the 5, and Junior in the 8.
So Stewart's the first guy in that line there that's got 4 tires, correct? And it's going to take a couple laps for those tires to come in. So we'll see if he really starts mowing down the first 2 guys, Harvick and Sorensen, once these tires come in.
On board with Earnhardt, behind Kyle Busch, rather. Junior down low. It's Ryan Newman in the 12.
And I was just told that Stewart only took fuel.
Stewart was fuel only also? Well, we know Kenseth took 4.
The biggest complaint for the 24 was he was tight. They made a big adjustment on his previous stop. Only had about 10 laps on the tires. Meanwhile, the 12 of Newman, his car was a little free. That was his biggest complaint.
Wow, look at Kenseth.
You see what 4 tires do. You see how fast he dove to the bottom of the racetrack to get in front of the 8 car there.
Boyer's got his hands full too right there. Saw him get sideways in the middle of 3 or 4.
You know, we talk about how confident sometimes. 4 tires just make you confident too. I don't care whether they're sticking or not. You believe them to be better than the guy in front of you. When the pit crew's saying, hey, those guys only went gas and go, man, don't worry about it. They got old tires. Man, you'll drive it down in the corner thinking your stuff's going to stick no matter what, because you just have that little bit of added confidence.
Clint Bowyer in that 07 behind Jimmy Johnson in the 48. Up front, Harvick continues to lead. Larry?
Yeah, what I'm seeing, guys, and I know you're probably seeing the same thing, I think the only way staying out or other strategy besides 4 tires works is if you're in the position of Kevin Harvick and Reed Sorensen out there. We talk about it all the time at a track like this, clean air, because what's very interesting, about 2 laps ago, those 2 cars, the 29 and the 41, ran their fastest lap of this race.
Marty with more on car 41.
Well, I was going to bring in Larry McBill. I just talked to Jimmy Ellis, the crew chief for Reed Sorensen. He told me we had nothing to lose. You know, we're back there in 10th and 12th, and our car's good enough to run up front. So we decided to not pit at all because we only had 5 green flag laps on your tires. So he agrees with you, Larry Mack. They had nothing to lose by not pitting there. And as you mentioned too, Larry Mack, if you're going to try it, now's the time to do it, right?
I think the only thing that will burn them is a long run here. I think they'll start to go back to those cars back there like Matt Kenseth. Right now, they don't have to fight with any lap cars. If we have a long run, we know they'll have to fight with lap cars.
And we set this up at the start of the race. I mean, your car may be okay when you're in the middle of the pack, but if you can get up there and get away from these guys so you're not racing them, all of a sudden your car magically feels better because you've got that air pushing down on that body that's pushing those tires into the racetrack. And we see long green flag runs here a lot.
A lot. This place is like a Michigan and like a California when it comes to that type of racing, or Vegas, where you get into a situation where everybody just kind of falls into a rhythm around the racetrack because it is so fast. It is a rhythm racetrack. You fall into that rhythm and you end up racing the track more. That's as we see the 48 car run the high side and the 12. The 48 car has new tires and he is coming. It's just going to take him a little bit of time, and like Larry says, the long run is the run that's going to tell the tale of whether this was right or not.
Jimmy Johnson runs 7th. He's already led 40 laps today. The 00 of Ruderman to the garage engine woes. Harvick leads at Chicago. NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from Chicagoland is brought to you by Subway Restaurant. Subway, eat fresh. By FedEx, every day is race day. By the Principal Financial Group, for retirement, investments, insurance, and banking, we'll give you an edge. And by Miller Lite, for award-winning taste, there's no debate. Miller Lite, good call. Our TNT race family spending the weekend in Joliet, Illinois. Glad you're along for the ride. Kevin Harvick is the race leader. 78 laps are complete. There are 27 cars on the lead lap. Harvick got the lead by not pitting. Ralph has that story.
Todd Berrier is the crew chief for Kevin Harvick. Todd, what led you to make that call to stay out on the racetrack?
Well, Ralph, we stayed out long. We were about the last car to pit anyway. We only had 6 laps on our tires. Track position is so important here. We just needed to get it out front, see what it was going to be like. So all them guys pitted so soon, a lot sooner than 10 laps sooner than we were planning on pitting. So I feel like if this run goes green, we'll be pitting spot on with the rest of them anyway.
Well, you got a nice, healthy 4-second lead right now. How much of a real gamble could this be? Does it have any chance of backfiring on you?
You have a 6-lap window there that these guys could pit. We'd have to pit, and then the caution would come out. Yeah, so there's 6 laps there that could backfire, but chance you got to take.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Oh, you're either going to be lucky or not. I mean, that's all there is to it, really.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you made your bet. Now you got to lay in it. These guys made that call. Some of them made it on fuel. Some of them made it on no tires. And it's going to be interesting to see as much the fuel run here with the 29 and the 41 as it is on how the tires are going to work over the last 10 or 12 laps of a run.
See our AutoZone in the zone.
The one thing you can't argue with is Kevin Harvick and Berrier's record here. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when they make a call, you got to look at it and you got to say, man, why didn't I think about that? These guys have dominated a lot of races at this place. Kevin just fell into the rhythm of this racetrack, and he really likes this place. So
Jimmy Johnson and Matt Kenseth. That's Johnson now in 6th, and Kenseth back to 7th. Harvick's out front. Larry McReynolds, I got 2 words for you. Clean air.
Oh, yeah. I had to get out of the set. I had to get down here at our TNT Ford Fusion test car. As I've been watching the 29 car go through the corners, one thing that helps that car really grip and makes downforce is this valence is almost sealed off. That's making maximum front downforce. But the one thing that's helping that 29 car right now, there's no cars in front of him. All the pressure, all the clean air is on this front end and pushing down. That's making maximum front downforce. If you're back in traffic or when he starts catching lap cars, all of a sudden you're not in clean air, and it's almost like picking this nose up. That's when you lose your downforce, and that's what I'm a little concerned on those older tires.
Thank you, sir. There's some good racing going on out there right now.
That was a really good explanation, too,
Yeah.
Larry. I mean, that was perfect. what it's all about. It's just getting the air on the front of that car so that it just pushes those Goodyear tires in the racetrack.
There are those 3 Hendrick teammate cars right in a row. You notice
they love each other.
They are
too.
close. They are very close.
Wonder if they'll help each other. Probably not. You know, but something interesting there is you saw the 48 run up on the 5 car and the 96. And as they came off, too, you saw the 96 keep the car pinned all the way down on the bottom of the racetrack. And Tony let the 48 and the 5 race because he knows he's the lucky dog car right now. He doesn't need to be racing with those guys. He's a lap down. That's really smart driving right there.
There's Raines in that 96, currently in the 28th position.
Yeah,
Gilliland is the next car.
Right, and that's the guy he's looking for in the mirror. He wants to make sure he doesn't see David in his mirror.
Jimmy Johnson around Jeff Gordon. That's for